Today I've been doing some experimentation. I needed to make a punch that was roughly the same size on the end as these rivets that I have to make myself a set of tongs. I needed to cut down, this was a long tapered punch. So I've cut it down to a little tiny bit smaller than the size of the rivet that I want, and then I can drift out the hole in the tongs that I make to the size that I need. But that allowed me to do a little bit of experimentation. I took the cut off tapered end and I forged it into a tiny little bar, which I've already done one experiment with. I essentially normalized it, heated it up until it was non-magnetic, and quenched it in oil, and snapped a piece off in the end of the vise there. And it did actually harden very well, but I had a very fine granular structure, so I'm going to repeat the experiment to try and ascertain whether or not this is actually a water quenching steel. That's why I'm going to heat it up again, quench it in water, and see how it reacts. Ooh, that's another very violent quench. The question now is what will happen when I stick this in a vise. Let's see if I can stick this on here in such a way that we can see what I'm doing. Going to clamp this in a vise. That sounded considerably more violent than the oil quench, so I'm thinking that if I bend this, instead of bending, I'm going to have to reposition to slow it down. Give it a whirl. Oh! That hardened up extremely well. Let's have a look at the end of this here. There's no way that this camera is going to focus on this, but it's a much more granular structure than I had with the oil quench. So I'm going to guess and say that this stuff is water quenching. Though I don't know on a bigger piece of steel whether or not it would actually survive that. That sounded pretty violent. Kind of cool though, because it means that the super cheap set of chisels that I bought, which are that's the biggest one of them. The whole bunch, 14 of them. They cost me 14 quid. It's like £1 each for a piece of steel, which is 8 inches long and a good inch across. So when these super cheap chisels are ruined, I have a pile of steel to play with that I know I can harden.